I am a collector.
I'm a collector.
I am a collector.
I think collecting is a form of self-expression. You know, it's a way of really showing what you're passionate about, what you enjoy, what you want to be remembered by. I mean, there's so many different things that people collect, right? There's things like shoes, there's things like cars for, you know, the wealthier type. But at the more common level, you see things like cards, pop figures, action figures, coins. And I think it's a good way of, again, if it's expressing yourself, expressing an interest, and you're able to share this interest with other people who enjoy different, let's say different card games, different action figure collecting, even again, pins, coins, you're still able to find common ground with someone else just because you collect. It doesn't have to be the same thing.
So to me, it's a hobby. It's something that I can treat myself with whenever I get paid. You know, I pay off my bills or whatever, and then whatever's left over, if I feel like I've earned something, I go out to the store, see what figures are available, and if they have something that I'm looking for, then I'll treat myself and buy it.
My journey, I mean, I started off young. I mean, I think trading cards were my biggest thing. I mean, growing up in the 90s, I mean, it was a lot about like Pokemon trading cards, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering. Like, it was a lot about trading cards and, you know, being on the school ground and trading cards with other students or other classmates and being like, you know, I got this card that I just pulled, you know, I'll trade you for that one. And while it was also a little bit of competition in terms of playing the actual card game, I think it eventually get to the point where, you know, I got to my middle school, high school years where I'm like, I'm not necessarily playing the game as much anymore, but I want to be able to hold on to these and I want to be able to collect them. They were a way of me reflecting on my childhood and being able to say, you know, I remember where I got this card, or I remember opening this pack of cards, or I remember going to the store and getting that one pack of cards that I really wanted. Or again, a story on the playground of trading up with someone just because they wanted the card that I had and I wanted something that they did. So it's a good way of reflecting on childhood. It's a good memory. And as I kind of got older into my adult years, or like, you know, past high school, I started finding more of a passion of playing the games again, you know, so I started buying more cards.
My collecting days started obviously when I was a kid. You know, my parents would get me a toy, Transformers toy for birthday or Christmas. But now, like I said, back in 2021, junior year of high school, got my first job and started getting some money in. I thought, well, you know, I had these before, why not get back into it? Things are still looking pretty good with these.
I think it all started when I was like 5 years old. I think I started collecting Hot Wheels and Legos growing up. But right now my focus is mainly on Funkos, really, and cards. I also like going to conventions and just getting a lot of like signatures and stuff like that.
I think my favorite method of collecting cards is probably going to be more of actually buying the product. I enjoy the actual process of opening a pack or opening a box of cards and trying to play the odds of, you know, the 1 in 1,000 chance of getting this rare card.
Being able to find it in person, just really like I can't even explain it. Like, it's just more rewarding, I guess you could say, just to find it in person than to just go online, search it up, and just buy it, you know?
The way I prefer to do it is just driving out to stores, seeing what they have, you know, Target. Within our area, there's 3 that I go to semi-frequently. I just like going there and seeing what they have. If there's something that I like, I'll pick it up. If not, then, oh well, you know, maybe next time.
I've done a lot to try to get cards. You know, I've met people from online. I've gone across the border. You know, I live in Illinois, not necessarily country border, but different states, to meet people up to try to trade up different cards or different, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards.
I went to a convention down in Missouri. I had to drive 10 hours there just so I can get my Yu-Gi-Oh Funko signed by Dan Green.
So it's a funny story. It was maybe 2022, a year into getting back into this, and I had been looking for this figure in the gray here the Studio Series Grimlock. I had been looking for it all over online. I couldn't find it anywhere. And so I was getting a little desperate. And one day I found an Amazon listing for one for actually a little over double retail price. So I think it was about $100 for it. And I had never made such a large purchase. I think maybe the most I'd spent was $30, $35. But I saw there was like dwindling stock. It went from 2 the next day, only 1 left. And I figured, well, I gotta jump on this now if I want it, or else I'm never gonna see it again. So bought it, came in about a week later, and couldn't be happier with it. I mean, the price definitely could be happier with.
I currently don't have my most expensive one. I did just send it like a month ago to get it graded, but it is a Tobin Bell signed Billy the Puppet Funko from 2015. The current value for it with it signed is around like $500, $550. But the reason why I got it, I want to get it graded is because that would add maybe double or to triple the price depending on the actual grade. Whether if it's a 9 or a 10, I could probably sell it for over $1,000.
I think currently my most valuable card, it's I got it graded. It's a PSA 10 Charizard VMAX from the Champions Path trading card, or from Pokemon. I think at the time, even before grading the card was worth like $600, $700, $800, just because of how rare the card was. Now that I sent it out to grading, right now it's probably worth like about $400.
It's actually this Studio Series Grimlock here. So not only is this a very well engineered version of the character, it's stayed about the same since the initial release of the franchise in '84 and '85. But like I was saying, the engineering and the quality of figures in today's market, it's taken a already pretty well designed figure and turned it up a few notches.
Well, it may not be the rarest thing I have. It's definitely something that just holds like emotional or kind of like value to me. It's definitely some of my older cards. Growing up in the era where Yu-Gi-Oh was super popular, like opening up those structure decks, which have like 40 cards. They are based off the TV show. Opening things up, like having that old, starter deck Yugi, Dark Magician, or starter deck Kaiba, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like those mean a lot to me. Even though I'm not grading them per se, I'm not going to go take them to see how much they're worth. They're in my binder. They're something that I, grew up using, playing on the playground or playing games with other people. It just means a lot to me.
Favorite Funko Pop is this one right here. Well, it has the most meaning to me, at least. It's Anakin Skywalker from the Clone series. It's actually signed by Matt Lanter, the voice actor. The reason why this one's means a lot to me is because this was actually my first Funko that my cousin gave to me, and he is the reason why I collect Funkos now.
Probably right here. This is Siege Optimus Prime, and this was one of the most recent figures I picked up. I was looking at my shelf one day, looking at all these figures I'm paying for, in some cases $100 even, and I realized, I have a Transformers collection without Optimus Prime, like the Transformer. And so after, laughing a little bit about that, I went online and was able to find this one for, I think, still $35-ish, which is pretty close to release price, if not release price.
I think collecting really took off during the pandemic. I think when people were stuck inside, I think it was of being able to buy things when you went to the store and being able to kind of share that online with others. It's a hobby that doesn't involve having to go outside. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest things, at least outside in terms of like buying the product, and with people not really meeting in person, I think you needed something. And I think that's where people were able to kind of buy things, whether online or in person, but bring it home, open them, collect them, get them graded, come back, and show them off online to people. And I think that's really where it took off again.
I think another reason why people collect, and probably why it just got bigger, is because it brings joy. Like, people tend to surround themselves with things that they like, And I think the reason why the collecting like market went up is because of the life events that we've gone through.